This is Meltdown Live, presented by MyBookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag for double your initial deposit. You sign on to make a deposit, they double it with code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag.
Welcome in. We are broadcasting live from the Culver studio. You know the deal. I'm Tim Melton, and this is the Meltdown here with you live daily, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern. Really appreciate you making us a part of your day. Lots to get to here on this very historic January 20th edition of the Meltdown. Let's now bring in the other half of the Meltdown. That is the one, the only Mr. Tyler Lionel Johns. Tyler, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good today. I'm doing really good today. I got to watch a lot of movies over the weekend and even watch some stuff on some platforms I hadn't tried before.
I watched a ton of stuff over the weekend as well. We look forward to talking about it all with you. I want to start off with something that Tyler watched that I have a lot of questions about. I heard a report about this, and it's fascinating because it's two things that maybe shouldn't work together, but somehow do, and it is called Grand Theft Hamlet.
Yep.
For those that are not initiated as to what this project is, help us with that first, and then tell us about what your general thoughts are, because this is something that you got a chance to see in the theater.
Yes. So Grand Theft Hamlet is a sort of documentary. It's filmed entirely in GTA Online, with the subjects of the documentary's avatars running around Los Santos. And the entire premise of this documentary is that during the COVID-19 pandemic, two stage actors, they couldn't find any work, and so one day they were just messing around on GTA Online, found a stage in the middle of the map, and said, "I wonder if we could actually like put on a full performance of Hamlet on this stage, since we can't do it on a real stage."
So it's kind of like Shakespeare in the Park, but very much Shakespeare in the online gaming park during a time of lockdown, I assume. And it works.
Oh, absolutely. If you're a fan of just watching video game content, watching people just do something silly in GTA Online and have good banter between each other, then this is for you. It is kind of like watching the GTA role-playing server 5M, like watching some of those videos, or like watching old achievement hunter content, or like watching Red versus Blue, something more machinima and narrative based.
And when it's done well, it really hits. It's super funny, creative.
Yes.
This feels like a big risk, but in the same sense, it also feels like intriguing enough to want to start a conversation. This is the type of movie that starts a lot of conversation. Did you give it a score out of 5 officially?
I did. I gave it 4 stars because it just did everything right. It captured that feeling of gaming with friends during the pandemic. It captured that sort of the feeling of what lies beyond is unknown. You're just stressing about what's going on now. Um, this isn't really a spoiler, but in the movie, one of the main cast ends up getting a real gig. And so they're just like, "Oh, well, we're happy for you, of course." And then they have their own conversation and just like, "Well, I guess we do need to look at getting real
That's
jobs."
funny.
And then, one of the main guys of the two that are putting it together saying, "Well, this is real for me." And so there's a little bit of conflict and a little bit of, just where everybody's mental state was at during
Sure.
the pandemic.
We're going to get more impressions of what you saw over the weekend because we're going to be going through a box office report, and there's a lot of the top 10 that Tyler saw over the weekend. I saw at least one entry there in the top 10, but I also streamed on Max last night the movie Better Man, which I don't know if you've seen it yet, Tyler.
Wait, do you mean Different Man?
Gosh, what did I call it? Every time.
I was like, "Wait a minute, you actually saw the monkey
No,
movie?"
I saw A Different Man.
With
Yeah,
Sebastian Stan.
yes. I mix that up every time. Drives me insane. I'm so sorry. That was not, I just wanted to point out that was not a scripted thing. That was very much me goofing. But A Different Man with Sebastian Stan. And have you seen that movie yet?
I haven't. I've to get around to it, but now I'm just disappointed that you did not, in
I
fact, watch the monkey movie.
don't know why you're obsessed with me watching that.
I just wanna hear your because you actually like musicals, and I don't like musicals at all, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was done very well. So I want to hear your take on it.
But you like music biopics, and I feel like this is that too. So it kind of works.
It kind of threads that line, kind of walks that line between them.
Here's what I will say about A Different Man is that it's a mix between The Substance and Sing Sing.
Oh,
It's those 2 things mixed together, and it actually works.
okay,
It ended up becoming one of my favorite films of the year, definitely top 20. I've debated whether or not it's top 10. It's right there on the cusp of top 10 for me. Darkly funny,
okay.
and it's just Sebastian Stan does deliver in this movie. It makes me wanna watch the movie The Apprentice now, 'cause Sebastian Stan was in such a heater in 2024, especially in this movie, A Different Man, that it makes me wanna go see his other work, which is The Apprentice, where he plays Donald Trump. I haven't seen the movie, but I'm definitely more interested now. We got a chance to see Wolfman, both of us. You saw it on Thursday, I saw it on Saturday. We'll get into our review, a little bit more of a non-spoiler here for the live show, and then we'll have our spoiler review for you on the channel later. But early thoughts are neither Tyler or I really dug the Wolfman. Not really our thing.
I was pretty disappointed with this. Character design,
Yeah.
big flaw there.
Yeah, there were a lot of disappointments, and the spoiler review will give us way more territory to go into those. But non-spoiler, I just think the second half of this movie absolutely falls apart, and it really they run out of stuff for the characters to do on screen, and it's pretty annoying and frustrating given that it's such a strong opening. I feel like to the movie. Tyler, you got a little bit of a chat check-in for us.
Yes, I do. Eric McElroy in the chat says he finally saw The Substance and A Real Pain. Substance was very weird to say the least, and A Real Pain was just boring. Just two movies that aren't for me.
Well,
That's fine. The Substance is very weird. You're right about that.
yeah, the third act of The Substance for sure goes off the rails. And Eric, we appreciate you being here, by the way. A Real Pain is a movie that I feel like you have to be in the right mindset for.
Mhm.
And if I feel like it is something that benefits from you buy a ticket, you go in, you preparing for that story compared to you're starting it while you're streaming and you catch most of it and you're attentive through most of it, but maybe you have times where you're distracted by other things because it is a little bit more of a thought piece. I don't know.
Yeah, it feels like a movie that while you're watching it, you're like, "Oh, I could just kinda casually watch this,
Yeah,
maybe, scroll through my phone, whatever."
right.
But then when you're actually giving it your full attention, you say, "No, no, no, no. You really actually need to hold on to every
Yeah.
single word in the script."
And if you go in with any of the mindset that this is going to be a fun buddy road trip movie, it's really not that.
No.
There's some elements that maybe um, would have you think it has that makeup, but it is a very intensely written piece that I really like. But I'm not sure I ever want to watch again. It's kind of this weird thing
Yeah,
where
I don't feel like I'll ever revisit it.
yeah.
Back to the chat check-in. Smuff says, "What's the interest level in the September 5th movie?" So Tim and I actually were able to catch that at an AMC Screen Unseen. Was that back in November?
No, that was December.
December, okay.
I think it was December. Yeah,
All right.
but I had a great time, Tyler.
It was great. I can't remember when things happened.
Yeah, I think it
Uh,
was December. It was like mid-December, I believe, and I thought it was fantastic. Watch me be wrong, watch it be November. I think it was December, and I walked out, it's right there with A Different Man. It's top 10 for me, but I do feel like, the more hooked in you are to broadcast history, the more you're going to get out of this film. I feel like the more connected
sure.
you are to the actual workings of a behind the scenes broadcast, the more you'll get in it. It's not a very Hollywood movie. It's missing some of that Hollywood magic, that an extra monologue, an extra star, an extra bit of pizzazz. It plays it very straight. Just a retelling of events,
Mhm.
and they integrate ABC sports and slash news footage very well in it. But is it anything that will attract people under 30? I don't think so.
No,
Even
not
though
at all.
you're under 30, Tyler, and you really appreciate it, but you also work in broadcast. So I feel like you have to have some sort of connective tissue to the broadcast industry to really enjoy it. But I found it to be excellently retold, a story that is very important. Okay, let's do this. let's talk a little bit about a horrible movie I saw over the weekend, and it's a movie called All In. It's a poker movie from 2006. We got it in our DVD mystery box, and I've been making it a mission to actually watch the movies that we get in our DVD mystery box. And you may be going, well, I mean, do you even have a DVD player? I have an Xbox which has a DVD player in it, and I've been using that. And I'd never heard of this movie, but
Was it the one Scott told you about?
he didn't tell me about it. He was hoping we got a movie with Lou Gossett Jr. in it.
Oh, I gotcha. He was hoping for the other Lou Gossett Jr. movie, Iron Eagle.
Yes. And I'd asked him off the air, whether or not he could take a guess at what was in one of these mystery boxes. He picked that movie, and it wasn't. But we got another Lou Gossett Jr. movie, which is a movie called All In. It's a poker movie. I'm a sucker for Vegas movies, poker movies, gambling movies, like them very much. And this is the worst poker movie I've ever seen. It's really bad. It's got Michael Madsen in it and Lou Gossett Jr. and some girl, I don't remember her name, but basically it's a man hosting a small poker group in his house, and his wife comes out. I've told you I don't want this sin in our house. Well, babe, this is how I support the family. Well, you need to go ahead and get because I don't love you no more. Oh my gosh, are you being serious? Yes. Bible says this isn't allowed and you're not allowed in my home. Oh my gosh. So the little girl witnesses all this. Michael Madsen leaves the house. The little girl grows up to be a doctor. She wants to be a doctor student. She wants to go to medical school. And then the woman gets mad at her. It's against God's teachings to be a doctor. And she's like, what are you talking about? Your daddy gambled with money. You're gambling with lives. And I'm like, this is the most poorly written thing. I mean, does this woman approve of? This is like such a bad take on Christianity and such a bad take. Anyway, it's so poorly written. It's like, I knew you were going to grow up and be your daddy. Like he was a gambling, drunk, and you're just going to want to be a doctor.
So
Those
now
things don't equate.
is the movie treating these like actual issues, or is it
Oh,
okay? I was gonna say like because that would be a real good twist if it turns out the biggest problem at all of all was the mom.
no, she's
No.
she's really not a big factor other than getting them separated. Well, then the girl goes to medical school. By the way, if I'm spoiling 2006's All In for you, I apologize. She goes to medical school, and there's a whole subplot about illegal immigrants needing medical care, and her undercovering under
Uncovering?
uncovering a scheme from the doctors that don't care about illegal immigrants and just want them to basically, not get peak medical care. And she's having to like fight the inner workings of that while also, once again, these are first year medical students that are, and it's like,
And all this is happening in a poker movie, you
it's
said?
all this is
This is
happening in a
supposed to be a
poker.
poker movie.
The kids come up. It's almost like 21 where they all team up and they go to like take on the poker thing. It's like one of them's like, I'm good at tells. Like I can tell when people are lying. And then the other one's like, I know percentages. And the other one's
Oh.
like, and you can't scheme a poker game the way you can a blackjack game. You can't count cards in poker. And it does not work for the movie. They all go off and they play strip poker and then there's things going on. It's very odd. It's like there's illegal immigrants begging for their lives one scene. The next scene it's like, "Oh, your bra's got to come off." And it's like this is not appropriate.
It sounds like this movie covers everything from like 21 to like Varsity Blues to Sound of Freedom.
Tyler, you got it right.
What is this movie?
And then Michael Madsen of course stages his own death and there's a scene that looks like what's the one that Paul Rudd always shows to Conan where, it's like the ET ripoff.
Mac and Me.
Mac and Me. It's like Mac and Me with the car going down and blowing up. It's like Mac and Me with the wheelchair scene. You know what I'm talking about if you've seen it. And Michael Madsen, he fakes his own death. He comes back, he looks like Kenny Rogers. And he quotes a Kenny Rogers line in the movie. Well, you got to know when to hold them or know when to fold them.
Oh.
And Lou Gossett Jr. only has like one phrase that he keeps saying. Is you in or is you out? He says that 15 times. Every time there's a tough decision at the poker table. Is you in or is you out?
I'm gonna say that tonight.
Please do. I'm gonna. By the way, EG's here.
I am here.
I'm saving your introduction. You got a big introduction coming, so just wait in the wings for me, please. Okay. But this movie's really bad. The bad part is,
Does Michael Madsen ever say he's stuck in the river with you?
No, he doesn't.
and cut off some dude's ear?
He doesn't. But all the doctors that are trying to kill the illegal immigrants in the movie also have gambling addictions, and they keep seeing them in the casino, which is why they won't give the illegal immigrants money unless they pay them $10,000 cash so that they can then go gamble that money away. It's so poorly written. Another thing, Mark Cuban pops up in this. I know. And he does this thing where he's trying to act non-verbally to the action at the table, and he's like,
Oh, I bet that doesn't go well.
oh, oh. So he does that, and then he looks right at the camera. And I'm like, Mark Cuban, you're not doing good here in 2006. But Eric Seidel is in this, pro poker player, but it's a bad poker movie. And I love all poker movies, basically. But this is the worst poker movie I've ever seen. It's called All In. And once again, they have to come up with narrative structure for why the first year medical students are operating on people, by the way. Like,
Yeah, that's a very good question.
Yeah.
They don't even have a medical license. They're not
right.
operating on anyone.
The whole reason they even want to start playing poker is so they can pay their student loans. But when you're actually going through college, you don't have to repay your student loans until like you're through with college. But
And not only that, but if they're planning on completing med school,
it's bad.
they will have a salary that to where you can pay off the student loans, and it's not
Exactly.
really
And
too bad.
none of these actors look like medical students, by the way.
Oh, of course not.
They're all got like weird beards, and they're like drinking nonstop, and they're like they just don't look like medical students. It's still better than this movie, Failure to Launch, which is the worst of the
Ew.
mystery box movies that I've seen. I know it's very hairy up here. Why is that? Oh gosh. Ugh, it's floating.
Stray hair on a copy of Failure to
It's
Launch.
cat hair. I don't even know. Anyway, Failure to Launch is still the worst movie I've seen, but it's close. These two movies are close. Anyway, don't watch All In from 2006, but I'll continue to let you know how the DVD mystery boxes work. I say all that to say we're going to be unboxing more mystery boxes here soon. E.g., you're about to be introduced. Stand by. Up on the big board, I have thrown out to E.g. every single movie that would make me excited if this was unboxed in the mystery box. And we are giving you a look ahead of when we do the mystery box later this week of all the things that could possibly excite me, because I don't want to come across as ungrateful for a lot of these mystery boxes, even though you can see the 2 fitness DVDs that we got up there that will be enshrined in this studio for the time to come. But we have some movies up there. What pops off the page at you, Tyler?
Oh man, it's got to be Tyler's Corner up there. You got
Oh.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space and Return of the Living Dead. Both
Right.
solid choices.
Tyler's Corner, the way that works is if anything in Tyler's Corner hits, he immediately gets it. And I've agreed to give him all of those that if they end up popping up. So if one of those hits, he can replace it with something else, but he has 5 choices. So there we go. And yeah, I've got a lot of movies up there that mean something to me, and I'm hoping that we hit on at least one of those within the next box or 2. But All In from 2006 is not one that I would recommend. But there you go, a quick look at all the movies. I now want to introduce EG because I saved this moment for this specific reason.
Why am I nervous?
Because the buildup.
I know. It's
that
been
was an
15 minutes, 18 minutes.
18-minute introduction to get to EG. It's all you now because All In is a poker movie. We have poker tonight. For people who don't know, we take it very seriously. It's a game of competition, skill, luck, wit, all of it.
Determination.
Determination. You are leading the poker season right now.
I am.
In first place. This has never happened before.
No.
Big, big, big moment here tonight because you are now the hunted
Yes.
compared to the hunter. How do you feel about the situation you find yourself in?
I'm trying not to think about it and trying to go the business as usual approach while obviously acknowledging that it is not business as usual. I now understand coaches and athletes, when they're asked about like a big game coming up. I understand now why they say, oh, it's business as usual when we all know there's another element involved. So, with that being said, I have appreciated my win. I have thought about the process that got me to that win. And now I'm going to rely on what I have learned and not rest on my laurels and let my number 1 seed potentially be overtaken tonight.
Well, you're not going to sneak up on anybody
No.
tonight. People know you're a real threat. They're going to take you very seriously at the table, and I'm curious to see how you battle in your number one position because, it's one thing to get to the top of the mountain, it's another thing to stay on there, especially when there are so many games left. 13 games left in the season.
Yeah.
We'll continue to keep you posted. Win, lose, or draw, we'll be honest about how the poker night turns out. But with all that said, EG, you have a very special assignment that you've been on today.
Yes,
You've been monitoring inauguration
I
coverage,
have.
and it has been a who's who of people that have flashed upon the screen.
Yeah.
Big happenings there in DC. This all taking place indoors.
Mhm.
And we're now going to get to a meltdown countdown of your 5 biggest takeaways from the presidential inauguration today, January 20th, 2025. EG, how did you approach this assignment? Because secretly, I feel like you kind of wouldn't mind being a White House correspondent.
No, would love, actually. And that's actually in the last couple of weeks been building that, I don't know, maybe entering the political sphere could be an option for my career. We'll see.
Okay.
I know.
Well, this is
Heard it here first on the
this is
Meltdown.
dramatic. Let's go ahead and get that audition tape ramped up now with number 5 on this meltdown countdown of biggest takeaways from the inauguration today.
My biggest takeaway, starting with location, obviously, it was not outdoors like it has been in previous years. So I personally liked it. I liked the indoor setting. It feels probably much more controllable for those that need to control a situation like that. And it looked beautiful. I thought that the flow was really nice, and watching people walk into that space was very interesting and visually very appealing to see, everyone from Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton to Donald Trump's family to different cabinet members and other people that are involved in the media, along with former President Joe Biden, Vice President Kamala Harris. So all that to say, I think maybe we, going forward, keep it indoors. DC weather is typically pretty cold, snowy, potentially raining this time of year. And I learned that it used to be held outdoors in March, early April. So the weather was a little prettier. You also have cherry blossoms during that time in DC. So maybe next year, or not next year, in 4 years, keep it indoor.
I would be fine with that. It really makes for a more interesting television product
For
because
sure.
you have everybody not just seated looking forward, ready for the big production, but you have a lot of interpersonal
Yes.
communications and
Yes.
circles that obviously, like, I'm a sucker for, and I don't know if you guys ever click on this, but like bad lip reading
Oh, all the
videos.
time.
I mean, this was a treasure trove for those people.
Yeah, and to see all of those different political actors, if you will, in one space sitting next to each other, eh, it is intriguing, and it is like a good drama, slight comedy elements in there. George W. Bush looked like he was having the time of his life. It was really funny to watch. But then you also know the weight of certain interactions, that you get more of those minute details and the milling about that you don't get when everything is outside.
Absolutely, and I thought we got a lot of that at the Jimmy Carter funeral,
Mhm,
so it
yes.
was kinda like a warm up to this sort of
Yep.
indoor shindig, but this one felt even bigger somehow
Mhm.
with all the different personalities. Because Tyler, there's a lot of, business leaders as well in there that are very high profile that make things very interesting to watch from an outsider's perspective.
Yeah, it's very strange seeing Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, Elon, and all these people that will be involved in the upcoming administration all together in the same place. And then it made that news that there was no official designated survivor even more worrying. It's
Yeah,
like that's a lot of people right there.
Yeah.
I'm taking his word for it because I haven't looked at the coverage myself, but Ryan Brown reported during the next round that there was no designated survivor
I didn't hear this.
if something was to have gone awry. Now, I think a lot of people ask these questions because of the Kiefer Sutherland show. I don't think, a- this was top of mind for everybody until that show
Yeah,
came out. But um, anyway, there we go.
that's
Let's
interesting.
move on to number 4 with your 5 biggest takeaways from today's inauguration.
Carrie Underwood, Grace Under Pressure. So I don't know if you guys saw this, but she sang America the Beautiful, and the track did not come on. It cut on for like 2 seconds, and then it was dead air. And you guys know, in broadcasting, dead air like that, even if it was for 20 seconds, it feels like you're standing up there for 20 minutes. And she decided, there's a shot of her and she looks at, I guess, the coordinator of the event and said, "Are we live? I can just sing it." The skill that takes to not have practiced a cappella, especially a song like that, and to get up there and absolutely kill it while looking fabulous, insane.
Let me go conspiracy theorist on everybody here, because
Okay.
what's a good political conversation
Oh,
without some conspiracy theories?
All right,
agreed.
I'm interested now.
What if she had planned it to mess up so that way it became a bigger moment? What if like her and her team had been like, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna make it look like something has gone awry, so that way when you slay it because you're a vocalist,
Yeah.
that like you're gonna get so much more pub off of it. And all these haters that have been coming after you because you're performing at this event, they're gonna be like, dang, I hate that that was so good. And like that's why it screwed up. Because why would you said it was just a track? It wasn't like
It wasn't live. I don't know what their official
just
title was, but there was a band there that was playing, but they were not supposed to play America the Beautiful. So now that is interesting to think about. Maybe they did have, like, a little stutter, but how would you coordinate that? You'd have to tell everyone, like, "Hey, guys, we're gonna plan this thing."
who would you have to tell?
You'd have to tell Carrie Underwood, and I think that's about it. As long as
But
as
you would
long as
have to
her and
tell
whoever's
the sound
supposed to be
technician.
queuing that up, as long as they both know, nobody else has to know.
As it To me, if I was that sound technician, I'd be like, "I'm taking orders from no one but one person or, like, one person's team." Like, I'm not doing what Carrie Underwood says in that situation, right?
Well,
I would not.
I don't know if that's the right move either.
I'm just saying, she ended up crushing it,
Oh,
right?
of course. Of course she did.
And it didn't like pop back on halfway through. It's like she did the whole thing
No,
a
she did the whole
cappella
thing.
after.
Granted, I will say that song is, like, one verse, and it was kinda funny because the crowd didn't know if she was gonna do, like, a redo of the chorus, you know? So when she stopped, she kinda had to be like, "And we're done, and clap," and so I don't know, maybe they did plan a little bit of a, coup, if you will, to get the track off, but I don't know. I just still don't know. If I'm a sound tech, I'm not gonna be like, "Oh, Karen Underwood team told me to cut this off."
I got you. And
Or you are, so you can ensure you get work in the future.
right.
Because
I don't know.
I wouldn't wanna be a working sound tech and have Carrie Underwood's team bad mouthing me.
I
Like, "Oh, that dude was insubordinate at the inauguration."
First thing Trump should do in office is launch an investigation into this event. That's all I'm saying.
Exactly.
I'm kidding. Okay, let's go ahead now and move on to number 3, and we'll see what other conspiracy theories I can come up with.
So, JD Vance's daughter stole the show slash Baron, and that Baron was kind of like my number 2, but I'll start with JD Vance's daughter. So when he comes out to be confirmed and swearing in and sworn in and all that type of stuff, she there's, like, 3 staffers of some sort that were in dress blues that come out with his 3 kids, and his little girl is in this, like, petticoat burgundy, and she has all of these Band-Aids all over her fingers. And it was so funny seeing everyone tweet about it because it was one of those things, and it looks like she might have cut her bangs herself at some point. They were a little, jagged, but it's this little girl sucking her thumb with all of these Band-Aids across her hands, and everyone is saying, "You know that all of her little fingers were perfectly fine last night, but she was determined to have colorful Band-Aids on every finger," and it was the sentiment of, "This is too big of a day to mess up. You're gonna have colorful Band-Aids, and everyone is going to comment on it and praise JD Vance's wife for handling the toddlerness of the whole thing." It
I hear you. Yep. If a kid wants Band-Aids, there's nothing that's gonna
No.
prevent them from getting their hands on some Band-Aids.
What is the
That's true.
obsession with Band-Aids as a kid?
It's the colors and the designs, like, I mean, you're young and, like, I don't know, maybe it also has something to do with when you actually need a Band-Aid, the amount of attention you
Oh,
get from, like, adults and loved ones,
yes,
and, like,
that's
that
true.
that sort of feeling of being secure and cared for.
Tyler majored in 2 things in college, psychology being one of them, and this is one of those moments where
That
it's paying off
is
because that's absolutely correct.
that is.
Good job.
My number 2 is are we moving on?
I'm trying to think here. We are on number 2.
Yeah.
This is going by quick.
I know, and I didn't really touch on Baron, but it was just funny seeing him tower over everyone,
Yeah.
and,
Yeah,
like,
somebody needs to put that boy in the
I
league.
know, like, Eastern European descent and what, like, 7'2"?
No.
Feels like it.
He's like 6'5".
We looked
Baron is not 6'5".
we looked this up,
He's
and
6'10" at
we've
least.
heard every number but the one that we came across. 6'7" is the latest we've heard.
Yeah, but then we also saw
There's
another place
no
reporting that he
way.
was 6'3", so we split it down the middle.
then everyone around him
But I
must
don't
be,
think he's
like,
6'3".
so short. I thought that he was towering over.
He's not 7'3".
Well, I know that. That was an exaggeration. This one says 6'9" as of 60 minutes ago. Barron Trump, standing at 6 feet 9 inches, matches NBA star LeBron James in height.
I am 6'9" as well.
So, okay, he's your
So
height.
I'll just have to go stand next to Barron Trump and we'll figure it out
We
that
could
way.
totally do that. You think he'd come on the show?
No. Do you think
He does like podcasts.
He does.
Yeah.
We are a
But just not this
podcast.
one.
You never know.
you never know? He may end up sampling us today.
Maybe.
Okay, so that's number 3 still.
Yeah, just like the kids of everyone. That was really fun to see all the interactions but I really JD Vance's daughter just was so cute to me. And like her little coat and like the little fingers. I don't know. Twitter loved her.
I'm glad Twitter loved something.
Yeah.
Let's move on to number 2.
Number 2 was I felt like all the speakers were very eloquent. Nothing felt drawn out, which I thought was significant. Now, I'm not sure what the underlying rules are of these state events, right? I'm sure everything has to be down to a T, but it just feels like in a political sphere, no matter what you're watching, things are so drawn out. It's like, come on, let's wrap it up or let's get to the next thing. I did not sense any of that. It was very on schedule.
It was like me talking about the 2006 Lou Gossett Jr. movie, All In, which is a movie I do not recommend, poker movie, casino movie, and a really, really bad movie with very melodramatic music playing the entire time through it while strange things are happening in 2006 and does not age well. So Lou Gossett Jr. in All In, is you in or is you?
So bad. Number 1. Ready?
I'm ready.
I think you can guess.
I mean, you could go a whole
I know, I guess I could.
bunch of different ways.
I know.
Something Donald Trump.
Well, no, but kind of.
Okay.
The fashion that was
Oh,
yeah.
you're right.
The fashion that took place was peak. It was incredible. I loved seeing all of the different looks that we got from the first lady, from JD Vance's wife, from, different members of previous cabinets and services and things like that. It was so fun to watch.
Bernie Sanders wearing the same $20 suit that he wears everywhere.
And
Oh, was he wearing that one like coat he uses in that one meme?
where he's like
Hands-
sitting like
Yeah,
this.
he's got his arms crossed.
Yeah, I believe he has mittens in that.
He
movie.
does. He has
does have
mittens.
mittens
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
And he's like, and like the wind is blowing, so his hair is little. Anyways, I thought the fashion was incredible. I love Melania's look. I love Osha Vance's look. I mean, no one missed for me.
Melania looked a little bit like Michael Jackson from Smooth Criminal, just a little bit, and I had that vibe there.
Yeah, if she had gloves on, was she
Except-
wearing gloves?
Michael Jackson's outfit in that was white, and hers was black with a white accent.
Yep, white piping.
Piping. I knew accent wasn't going to be enough to get
No.
through.
I didn't see this outfit until just now. You're exactly right. You nailed it. It is the Michael Jackson Smooth Criminal outfit with that big hat.
I love
that
the
covers
hat.
her eyes.
The hat
Yeah.
is so good, and I love that hats are back. It's so classy.
I would have maybe gone Carmen Sandiego had it been a red outfit.
I've seen that
yeah.
being floated around. I think
Oh,
Dave
really?
Portnoy tweeted that.
I have not seen anything floated around, but that's also a vibe there.
Yeah.
I was a big sucker for the Carmen Sandiego PC games. I don't know if you remember those, but
Mm-mm.
that was before y'all's time. But that's how you learned like geography and stuff, was playing those Carmen Sandiego games, and they were very fun. You had to track
Interesting.
her down and based on clues from around the globe, and that's a little dose of nostalgia. So thank you for that outfit.
Yeah.
You got to find where in the world is Carmen Sandiego.
I believe that is a property that there's more things that could come from that
Yeah.
if somebody would tap into that IP in a proper way.
I think they were looking at bringing it back a while back. Maybe like 10 years ago. Hasbro owned a TV channel called The Hub. Do you remember this?
I do not remember this.
Okay. It was basically just like old reruns of like the Wonder Years and shows from that era.
Sounds right.
And then as well as like everything that Hasbro owned. So like Transformers, G.I. Joe, My Little Pony, whatever. And that would definitely be on there.
I love the Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego's song as well.
Yeah,
but,
it's a good one.
I'm like looking at her right now. I didn't know her like growing up.
Carmen San Diego?
Yeah,
No.
it was one of the things that, like, they would play reruns of, but I think,
Mm.
like, the original run was in the '90s for Carmen San Diego.
That is correct.
Yep.
Where in the world is Carmen San Diego? Anyway, I'm done. Thank you for that report,
You're
EG.
welcome, you're
We appreciate
welcome.
it. Next time we may send you in person here to
Please, that'd be
report
cool.
with a
I like
Meltdown
DC.
mic there. I want to now go ahead and go from counting down there with EG to chomping down with our friends on Grants Mill Road. That's Dr. Jeff, Dr. Brian, and Dr. Nolan over at Alabama Dental Associates, providing you all sorts of services when it comes to staying on top of your dental health. Maybe you just haven't had confidence in dentistry, especially since the pandemic, and you're looking for that perfect fit, that place that is not only accessible here locally in central Alabama, but also one that always makes you feel at home. That is what I have found at Alabama Dental Associates. They work with you. They make sure that when it comes to insurance providers, they're very flexible with that, and they work out payment plans to make sure that you're never having to sacrifice your health care for some sort of issue when it comes to whether or not you feel like you can pay for a procedure. They're accepting new patients now and can help you feel at ease about all of your upcoming dental work. For more information or to make an appointment, call them at 205-956-8977 or visit alabamadental.com, where they look forward to seeing you. Chance we see Dr. Brian at the poker table tonight.
Oh,
Hoping that's a
nice.
possibility. We shall see. Tyler, I believe you have a chat check-in for us here on this historic Monday.
I do. Charles, talking about the inauguration, says W is just a big kid, and I love him for it.
Mhm.
Yes, he's always sort of been like that. At least in when I've seen him. Let's see. Hunter says, feed Baron the ball in the paint. He'll average 20-20.
Agreed.
Yep. Somebody needs to sign him to a two-way contract.
You know,
Uh,
that's a stigma that goes around, right?
That tall people can play basketball?
Correct. Now I can, but a lot of
Duh.
other tall people cannot. And I'm just saying, like, be kind to your tall friends, because just because they're tall doesn't mean that they can average a 20 and 20 every single night.
Apparently, I saw an interview that Trump said that he tried to get him in basketball, and he was not interested at all. Soccer was his sport of choice.
What a
I
mistake.
know. I
Gosh, what's he
know.
gonna do
I
next?
don't know if he was a goalkeeper, he'd be solid.
I can't really see him doing I don't know.
He's not playing goalkeeper, I'm telling
No.
you. If he's
Nah.
interested in soccer, it's not because he wants to stand
Specialist
under the
role.
net.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, yeah. I tried to get
Oh,
my daughter to play goalkeeper, like, really
Oh,
passionately,
yeah.
and she did for the most part, but, I don't think there's a future there with that. Anyway, continue. She's tall.
Hunter also says Melania looked like one of the bounty hunters from Red Dead Online.
Yeah, no, that's a
Huh.
good analogy
That'd be
there.
symbolic.
Yeah, maybe so. Okay, let's go to this. I want to get to our box office reports for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, because it's technically a 4-day weekend with the MLK holiday, and the box office numbers will get bigger than just this initial 3-day. But if we look at the 3-day run, in the number one spot after the 3-day, probably won't be the same after the 4-day, is the movie One of Them Days. I thought this was a great trailer. I laughed at the trailer very much. I love the Cat Williams stuff outside of the loan office.
Yes.
It's very funny, but it only cost 14 million to produce, and it's right there towards the top spot at 11.6 million dollars. It's the first black female-led theatrical comedy since Girls Trip came out in 2017. It currently holds a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes,
Wow, that's awesome.
and people were flocking out to the theater
I
to go.
had trouble getting a seat. Like, I was gonna hold off on this one until later on in the weekend, and then I said, "Well, nearly every showtime is just about selling out. I need to get into it now to go ahead and get the
Oh,
review out there."
when I went to the theater Saturday night, I couldn't find a parking spot.
That's awesome.
And it is awesome. I'll explain why maybe it's not so awesome here in a second. But I thought to myself, like, oh, okay, there must be a ton of people going to see Wolfman in prime at 8 o'clock on a Saturday.
I
And
thought the same thing when I pulled up Thursday night. It was shockingly empty.
and everybody was going to see one of them days
Yeah.
for the most part. Once again, coming in that top spot there, the 3 day overall will add up to less than $80 million for all the movies combined. Not a great MLK Junior Holiday weekend. It is one of the worst since 1997. We saw the same sort of thing in a holiday here recently. I think it was Memorial Day weekend where all the movies added up to a big failure. That's when we got
That's when we got Furiosa.
Furiosa
Yeah, Furiosa.
and
I hated that. I didn't even go
uh,
see it.
what was a Fall Guy with
Yeah,
Ryan
Fall
Gosling was
Guys,
out at that time.
Bop 2.
So both of those underperformed. But one of them days, once again, $14 million to produce. It's got a very targeted fan base that's already sort of built in that wants to go see this, that really likes the marketing. And then all of a sudden it turns into an event for a lot of people to go out, check out this movie. And there were so many people just having fun going to the movies on Saturday, which was great.
Yeah.
But it was very top heavy in that everybody was going to see this and nobody was really going to see anything else. Which tells you that it's not really people were excited to go to the theater. They were just excited to go to this one
See
movie.
that movie.
'Cause
Yeah.
It was good.
I think it has the potential. I haven't seen it yet, but I think it has the potential to be a really fun date movie, especially.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes. It's just very relatable story, very simple. And then you just got all these wacky hijinks along the way between these two characters that do really well together on screen.
I saw the trailer going, that's great chemistry on the
Yes,
screen, and it comes across that way in the movie.
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So you would recommend this one as the comedy event of 2025 so far?
I guess so. It might just be comedy event of 2025 period because we don't really get comedy movies in the theater anymore.
That is correct.
And that's why I champion this movie so much.
Awesome. Well, a lot of people excited to see it, and it looked like a lot of people were happy exiting the film as well. And it looks like it gave people their money and their time's worth there. So one of them days at number one. Number two, Mufasa the Lion King. This is a movie that has had legs, which is surprising because the movie is flat out generic. It's very generic. It's got a very generic feel. But globally, the Barry Jenkins directed prequel has made $588 million, still very shy of what the 2019 Lion King movie made. However, continues to hold rather well. Disney's got to be pretty happy with that. And I don't know, Barry Jenkins kind of like during the press tour was kind of ashamed of this movie for different reasons, but then it started to perform better and better, and now maybe he's changing his tune. But it seemed like he was coming up with excuses for why it wasn't going to work, and now it's starting to work. So Mufasa the Lion King there at number two. After the 4 day, I expect it to be in the number one, but we'll see.
So I've already got it as a top in the 4 day.
Okay,
You pulled your info too early
well,
again.
Tyler, if you want to do the segment, you can. But um, this is the 3 day, and that's made clear here. But in the 4 day, Mufasa will end up being number one, as Tyler has alluded to. Wolfman, another movie about a creature in the number three spot, 10.6 million. I feel like even though this is a low risk sort of investment type movie, I feel like this is a big failure, a big disappointment. And word of
Yes.
mouth has not been good on it.
It's not a failure in the sense that they're just really losing a ton of money over this movie. It's a big failure for Universal's for their future, what they want to set up. They want the dark universe, epic universe, whatever they're calling it now. One of the sections in the new park, and they wanted to use that to promote the new monster movies and use the new monster movies to promote the new side of the theme park. And now neither one are going to do a good job of promoting the other because man, that Universal Wolfman statue that you were complaining about, I think it looks fine compared to what we got in the movie.
So for me, what I saw, it wasn't a statue, it was a performer.
Oh, well, whatever.
Oh, so you're saying that you're
Hey,
also
I
alluding.
think we're talking. We might be talking about the same
Okay,
thing,
okay.
but
I just wanted to make sure we were because I had seen an early
yeah,
show of a performer compared to a any sort of thing that they're instilling in the park. But you're right. Long term, all they want to do is get it started. If we can just get it off the ground, and audiences just won't take to it. You remember the Tom Cruise Mummy movie
oh yeah,
that was supposed to launch their dark universe team up, and they had that whole cast. Javier Bardem, I believe, was going to be the Wolfman in that
yeah.
version, and it fell apart.
I don't know why Universal thought it'd be a good idea to make a Pooniverse, basically. The dark universe of villains teaming up. That's just a bad idea for these properties. I just want some solid monster movies that pay homage to a lot of the classics, the originators of some of the genres that are being represented. But just seems like Universal's lost their way.
Lee Winnell directed this movie. He most notably directed The Invisible Man for
Mhm.
Universal, which I guess, with how well that movie did critically and commercially, they said, let's go ahead and have you do our next property, which is The Wolfman. But this thing's been in production hell. Ryan Gosling was attached to it at one point, ended up falling out of the lead role, and the movie just
Falling out
crumbles.
or reading the script?
I think he was a part of the creative process very intricately, and then ended up those relationships went south for some reason. But this is not a great movie. It cost a reported $25 million to make and is expected to reach $12 million by the close of Monday's holiday. Is that where we're at right now with the 4-day, Tyler?
That is what I have so far is $12
Thank you.
million.
Report back, please.
All right.
53% on Rotten Tomatoes and a C minus cinema score. So some disappointment there. Sonic holding there at the number 4 spot. Den of Thieves 2 at the number 5 spot. Moana 2 at number 6. Nosferatu at number 7. A Complete Unknown at number 8. Wicked holding still in the top 10.
Ugh.
After all this time, I'm over it too, EG, but after
Sorry.
all this time, EG here, by the way. Wicked, just I'm
Hey, it
over it.
wasn't me who groaned when you mentioned Wicked.
I'm over it.
I'm over it. It needs to take a break.
And well, guys, it's about to have Wicked Part 2, and
No, EG, you mean Wicked for Good.
Yeah, Wicked for good.
I'm not calling it.
And I'm telling you, part 2, I don't know any way it's better than part 1. Like, the music is not nearly as good unless they've written stuff. They've really, really upgraded the music there in Act 2 of this production, but we'll see. I'm so tired of it that I know how Tyler felt 3 months before the movie came
Me
out
too.
because he'd been complaining about
I
it
was
ever.
just ahead of the curve.
You
was.
were,
Just
you
ahead of the
were.
curve.
I'll give you that. But guys, we're about to get into the marketing campaign for Part 2. The
Ugh.
Wicked Part 2. The
All I
Twist
see-
Tornado
Wicked
Part
for
2.
Good, EG.
In my head, Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande are constantly just holding hands and
They are.
talking.
And like
That's because they
petting
are.
they're petting each other.
Yeah, they're both victims somehow, but also being pushed in the biggest movie event of the Thanksgiving
I
holiday.
Man, I
that
was
they're both
telling y'all about this a month and a half before
All right,
the movie came
we
out.
get it.
That they are annoying in every single little presser. They are just
Right.
being over the top and annoying.
right. We had the 3-day information. You've got the 4-day
Yep.
information. You were ahead of it.
It-
Okay, good job. This is all just about how great Tyler
Of
is. This whole
course,
episode.
yeah.
There's something else I need to say.
Say it.
Thank you, EG. The 215-minute post-war epic, The Brutalist, expanded to 388 screens, which is by
Oh.
far and away its biggest expansion so far. Still nothing here for us to see. That changes this week. But it
Oh.
made nearly $2 million over the weekend, which is really good for less than 500 screens. A24 reported that it sold out various 70 millimeter and IMAX showings. The studio also decided to re release its Coleman Domingo drama, Sing Sing, in theaters and in prisons, where over
Oh.
1 million incarcerated people in 46 states were able to view the film. I don't know if Alabama is one of those states, but
I
I
assume not.
assume not. If it's
I assume
46,
not. We're busy putting our inmates to work at Burger King.
well, there you go. 46 states able to view the film. Once again, not sure if Alabama was one of those, but I highly doubt it.
I learned that about Alabama when I moved here.
Yep.
That typically, if the majority is doing something, you guys aren't.
I feel like that's a very like I
That's,
feel
that's
like
a
we,
generalization.
yeah, that's a pretty veil shot there.
It
But
is.
if I'll tell you, one of the best things I saw this weekend was Dave Chappelle's opening monologue at SNL. If you guys haven't
I've been
seen it,
meaning to watch it.
wow, it's so I think it's very good. I mean, it's basically a Netflix special in 20 minutes on SNL. And if you like Dave Chappelle, you've probably already seen it.
I did see he brought back some of his classic characters to
He did.
SNL.
He does that quite often when he hosts, but he made a joke. He made a bunch of jokes that I can't really retell, but Dave Chappelle can tell them. And he talked about, basically like how rich California is.
Yeah.
And during the fires, it really sort of accentuated how rich that area is because he's like, a square foot of California burns down is this much damage, but I could like burn down half of Mississippi for $400 or something like that. It wouldn't touch nothing. So it was very funny the way he presented it, not the way I presented it, but it sounded like the way that you were talking about
Yeah.
us here in the South, even though you're from the
I
state of
love I
Georgia.
love the South, and I
Oh, I
love
know.
Alabama.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I didn't I
Just hate the
was
traffic and its people.
No, I love Alabamians, okay? Love
I
Alabamians,
got you.
love you guys.
Just not
I
when
know
they're
you
behind the
guys
wheel.
Yeah, that is very true. I know you guys don't like Georgia people.
Correct. Get
Um,
out.
I've been told, "You didn't go to Auburn, you go to Bama? What are you doing here?" Then I say I'm from Atlanta, it's like, "Praying for you." I'm like, "Whoa, I like where I'm from." All that to say, I didn't know you guys have a lottery until I moved here.
That is correct.
Correct.
Yeah, so that was all that ooh, ooh,
There goes EG dropping stuff. We didn't catch it on camera this time, so you're good.
thank you.
But
All that to say, no lottery, that was interesting. A roundabout way to
Man,
get there.
we Alabamians might not have a lottery, but at least we have opposable thumbs. We can hold on to things,
Wow,
grip them.
that was really dramatic, Tyler.
he acted it out. I told you he's in a little bit of a
I know,
I don't know if it's feisty, fiery. I don't know
it's
what it is.
it's actually when I rest things on this chair that they fall. I don't drop them.
Mhm. E.g., Tyler's in a little bit of a punchy mood today, is what I would say. That
Yeah,
that
I'm
would be
I'm
the word I would
sensing
use.
that.
A little punchy.
Posable thumbs, wow.
We're going to see The Brutalist this week if everything goes to plan. This is a 4-hour movie. You wanna go see it, E.G.?
Probably
4-hour
not.
movie?
I'm gonna check out of this
I
one.
don't blame you. You could take my spot if you wanted.
Wait, when is this?
Later this week.
Okay. Yeah,
No.
probably not.
Okay. There's an intermission built in. The Brutalist right now is getting some hate. Have you seen this?
For length of time or for plot or for what?
AI?
AI?
Okay, wait.
Really?
So in the case they use it for, which I guess we should probably use that as the preface, they used AI to clean up some of the dialogue and spots where ADR just couldn't get it done, and they wanted to get a very specific Hungarian dialect done with Adrian Brody, and he was just having trouble. But it's Hungarian. Like, dude actually tried to learn the language, but they wanted to get it perfect to where not even locals could tell a difference. And so they used a little AI to clean it up. And that's actually what I feel like AI should be used for. It should be used for being able to translate and make your work more accessible to people or remastering old work like David Fincher did with Seven here recently.
AI was also reportedly used to create drawings and buildings within the movie too.
Oh, well,
Oh.
I didn't see that part. Okay.
So, look,
Now I'm a
this
little peeved.
let me tell you what's going on here. Okay? It's called Oscar campaign season.
Mm.
And it's called We're Not Gonna Let the Brutalist Expand and Start Being a Runaway Train to Best Picture. And there's other studios, there's other
Smear
publicists.
campaigns.
Oh yeah. And they're gonna really go like, okay, we just fought as SAG-AFTRA against every bit of AI invading our industry, and you're gonna give a movie that uses AI Best Picture? Are you kidding me? I
Mm.
promise you, the other all the other film in their promotional campaigns are going to rally against, let's go ahead and kneecap the Brutalist right now. And this is going to grow. This is not going to die down. This is going to be a bigger discussion. We're in the very early phases of this. But as the Brutalist gets more and more attention, even though it may be something that's not even noticeable in the film,
Like with Late Night with the Devil, people were freaking out about that for like 2 days.
it
And it's just these little interstitial title things.
it was an unnecessary risk that they took.
I agree with that.
But they are also, both of these films share a common thread, which is like Late Night with the Devil and The Brutalist. They're both very low budget movies, both made for probably like I know that The Brutalist was made for like $11 million,
Wow.
and I want to say Late Night with the Devil was made for around 8 million.
Brutalist budget is around 10 million. Late that's
Yeah,
ending explained.
give me a yeah, don't give me that. Give me
$150,000 for visual effects and a total budget of around 2 million.
$2 million for Late Night
Wow.
with the Devil.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dang.
Okay.
Why do you
How
think
much
they used AI? They
how much
couldn't
did they
afford
make?
There you go.
anything
How
else.
much did they profit off that movie?
It wasn't like this. It wasn't like this huge number, but I would say it probably made what, $15 million?
What's up?
Late Night with the Devil. What was its total gross, Tyler?
Let me see.
We'll figure this out
Okay.
because I am genuinely curious.
The gross was around $11 million.
Okay. I said
Yeah.
15, around 11. I would think with some of the streaming, because it's a Shutter movie also, that there may have been some extra money coming in based off of those exclusive deals to stream it too. So
Yeah, was it just like an exclusive licensing deal to Shutter, or was it like a Shutter original?
I think it was a Shutter original, if I'm
Okay.
not mistaken. I think it was a Shutter original that they then licensed out to Hulu or Disney,
Gotcha.
Hulu, so that way they would have a little bit of a run with it there around the Halloween season. So it's there's all kinds of deals and movies that try to find funding every way they can. But the Brutalist right now is going to continue to be a conversation because not only are we going to see it this week to see if it is a real deal contender for Best Picture, all the buzz has been that it is. Is it going to lock up Adrian Brody, a best actor win? Potentially. We got to see the movie first.
So it's been getting good buzz outside of Golden Globe journalist circles, correct?
No, I mean it got
Or is that the only people who have seen it so far?
Golden. Yeah. No, I know what you're asking. Yes, it's gotten good buzz from general audiences as
Gotcha.
well
Okay.
that have had a chance to see it and say it's the real deal. So
All right.
we're gonna go in and give it a shot, and it's gonna be an experience, Tyler. And we'll see if we make it through the whole thing. If you,
Hopefully I do not fall asleep because that is a movie I am primed to fall asleep in.
it
So,
is. Let me throw out something that's strange to me: the endurance test. Right? No one has seen more movies in a theater that I know of in the history of mankind,
Mhm.
personally, than you have in 2024.
that is correct.
This is reportedly the ultimate 2024 movie. So this is like the cherry on top of the sundae that you've built. This is the one.
Built one big Sunday.
It's a big sundae, and this is
Big.
just a little cherry. Now, maybe you've emotionally moved on to 2025. I don't know. But you got to take one step back into your previous life of 2024 movies
Ugh.
because this is a big one. It's a huge cherry, but this could be the movie that is remembered most from this year in those circles of cinematic excellence.
Okay.
So I'm very curious to see what your take is going to be on this. But the fact that you've seen over 130 plus movies and you're worried about a 4 hour runtime, it doesn't add up to me. It doesn't track to me. Is it like really going to test your resolve? Are you going to have to? I mean, you got the intermission in there too.
That's true. There's just when it gets that late at the movies, 4 hours,
Yeah.
there's a chance I fall asleep. But man, it's just gonna be such a disappointment if we're there for 4 hours and the movie's just
So
mediocre. Not
Yeah.
even. I
yeah.
would rather this thing just be an absolute just dumpster fire
Right.
You're
than
worried
be
about
mediocre.
your ROI.
Return on
Yes.
investment.
Yes, absolutely, EG. Because even when you see 130 plus movies in a year, you still say, well, I'm okay with sitting through an hour and a half bad movie.
Yeah.
I'm okay with sitting through maybe 2 hour bad movie.
Yeah.
I do not want to sit through a 4 hour bad movie.
I hear
That's
you.
rough.
I hear you loud and clear. All right. Well, we'll keep you up to date on a number of things this week, including our gearing up for the Brutalist. It will be a little bit of an endurance test. We also will have a mystery box. If we can get another shot at the big board here, Tyler, this is what we're rooting for, or I am at least. Any one of these to hit on DVD or Blu ray.
I'm so excited.
And
Bless you.
bless you, Tyler.
Gosh.
E.g., if one of these hits during the mystery box pull, we got to go up to the board and make
Oh,
it count.
we will absolutely. I'm hoping it's not going to be like Step Brothers in the corner, bottom right down there. That'd be really sad if that's like the first one gone. And you can barely see it and it's like not dramatic at all. A Mars Attacks to go first or a Rocky Molly's Game Galaxy Quest. Hoping for the theatrics and dramatics here.
I'm still upset that our brethren, Scott Forrester, who we work on the back row every single
Uh,
day together on the next round,
this was this
he
was hard.
he hated Molly's Game.
Hated it.
hated is a strong word in his terms. He very much did not care about it emotionally in any way. That's the way I would put it.
Understand that.
I
And
he,
I love Forrester. I feel like we don't really disagree on a lot.
he missed on this
He
one,
did.
but I can't really figure out why other than he said he didn't care about Molly or her game, and you have to care about.
He
You have to
said the movie tried too hard.
I don't even know what that
I don't
means.
either.
No, I know exactly what it means.
Do you feel
It's
the same?
I haven't seen Molly's Game, so
What?
I can't
Oh.
I can't really
So how
review
do you
it.
know exactly what he means?
I know what he means when he says a movie's trying too hard. It's like the movie is self-important in a way. There's a certain arrogance, a certain air the movie puts on.
It's called A Complete Unknown. That's what it's called.
Uh,
That's a movie
Yes,
that
that is an air of superiority. Just
I think
That is
Molly's
correct.
Game
around.
has that.
Molly's Game does not have that. Scott it's two separate sort of things. Scott hates, I think, the pacing of the movie, and he
Yeah,
doesn't
how it builds.
how quick it is.
Yeah.
Because it's like
Yeah.
you could watch that movie 3-4 times and still miss entire exchanges of
true.
dialogue because of how quick it is. But anyway, Molly's Game, I absolutely love. It's one of my favorite movies
it
ever.
kind of looks like he's just not a fan of Aaron Sorkin's writing,
Correct.
which
Which
you know, you're either a fan of that kind of
Right.
humor and dialogue, or you're just not.
Yeah. You're a David Fincher fan.
Yes.
David Fincher's notorious as a director for having his actors take 100 plus takes of a
Yes.
single scene.
Yes, and I like Kubrick, and he's notorious for doing the same thing.
Right. And some actors love that
Mm-hmm.
because they feel like there's no way that my best work won't be represented if we do it 100 times because I will have some take in there that's perfect.
Right.
And other actors hate it because they feel like they've given their best 10 times and they've done nothing different and they're being asked to do it 10 more times and then 20 more times, 30 more times. And it drives them insane because they feel like, what else could I possibly add? At this point, you're just wasting my time. So there's some actors that love it, some actors that hate it. And I feel like with a writing style like Sorkin, it's very much like the people who really love it, like Dunaway loves Aaron Sorkin,
He loves West Wing.
loves West Wing, loves Newsroom, loves a lot of things that
has he seen Molly's Game?
I don't think he has, but you should recommend
I
it.
will. I
You should
will.
recommend it so that way we can gang up on Forrester all together.
Yeah. Well.
Anyway, I don't think Tyler would like Forrester.
No.
I don't think Tyler would like Molly's Game.
I got no
Mm-mm.
beef with Forrester.
I don't think Tyler would like Molly's Game.
I don't
I don't
think
think
so
the
either.
subject matter. I don't think
The
I just don't think it's not your cup of tea. If I had to guess, maybe
So,
I'm wrong.
who's in Molly's Game? Is that the Anya Taylor-Joy one, or am I thinking of the? I'm thinking of the chess one.
You're thinking
Yeah,
of Queen's
okay.
Gambit, yeah. But similar vibes from both of those. Both
Okay.
things I recommended to EG, by the way.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't recommend me Molly's Game
No.
just based off of me liking Social Network?
No.
Okay.
Jessica Chastain is in the lead role there, and Idris Elba plays her lawyer,
Mm-hmm.
and she is facing a lawsuit from the federal government for running an illegal gambling ring, basically, when they're trying to make the argument that what she did is not actually illegal, and she ends up having all these secrets about celebrities because a lot of high profile celebrities are playing in
Molly's
Game.
Game.
Molly's Game.
Oh,
And it is a game for the business elites. It's a game for the celebrities. It's a game for
International.
international intrigue to where she's able to garner a lot of industry intel based on what's being talked about around the poker table. So it's a very fascinating sort of take, but the players in the movie are their real life counterparts are disguised. So where you're not supposed to know who they are, but it's kind of leaked out who everybody is, and it kind of makes it a lot more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And Michael Cera is in this movie, and
love my
he
Sarah.
plays a player called Player X,
Yeah.
which is this huge Hollywood celebrity that everybody wants to play with. And he is a crusher at the table. He's really, really good. But it's supposed to, reportedly, in real life, be Tobey Maguire that was actually that person.
I've heard he's a card shark.
So that's what's been reported, hasn't been confirmed, but it's a very fascinating,
So
true
good.
story that has a lot of brutality in it,
Yeah.
a lot of humor, a lot of wit.
I'm interested. I'm sold on
It's a
this
good
idea.
courtroom
It
movie.
is. It's a good everything movie.
It's a good sports movie, non-sports sports movie. It's
Mhm.
fantastic. So Love Molly's Game. It's currently on Netflix if you want to watch it, if you haven't already. But Forrester was not a fan. But he watched the whole thing. So there's that. Okay, that's going to do it for us here on The Meltdown. Once again, Mystery Box is coming up this week. Really hoping to get some good hauls out of that. The Brutalist coming up later this week. Hoping that's a nice sort of gift to us all. And we've got our Wolfman spoiler review going out as well today. Make sure if you've been, one of the few people who have seen that movie, you check out that spoiler review. If you don't care about seeing the movie and you just want to hear our thoughts rambling on about it, make sure you check out our spoiler review. It's all brought to you by our title sponsor, that is MyBookie at mybookie.ag. You can bet on anything, anywhere, anytime, only with our good friends at MyBookie. Join the MyBookie family for daily odds boosts, same game parlays, and super contests. Make sure you use promo code NEXTROUND for that first-time deposit bonus. EG, thank you so much for being here today.
You're so welcome. Thank you for having me. I'm enjoying the discussion, but I'm looking very forward to crossing some things off our board.
I am too, and I'm looking forward to seeing how you perform tonight at the poker table, which
I
no
know.
pressure. It's really like, what do you have to lose?
Everything.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Your entire position and your
Respect
reputation.
and
The season's on the line,
reputation.
EG.
Yeah, are you like paying people off to like add pressure to me today?
No, is somebody else doing that?
Oh yeah.
Let me guess.
Mm.
Who could it be?
Mm.
Is it
Mm.
is it Dim Junaway?
Yes.
No. I think you being in the lead right now is the number one reason why he's so excited to show up and play.
Oh, he is happy that he's in that third spot to potentially overtake me or
Could
pass
happen.
me.
We'll see how that affects your game tonight because it is, you got to be thinking about each game as a singular event.
Yep.
And then Tyler, appreciate you being here, man. And are you going to the movies today? Are you seeing anything today?
I might. There's The Room Next Door that has Julianne Moore, Tilda Swinton, John Turturro. Might go see that. And then a suspense movie called Both Eyes Open, which I know literally nothing about.
I'll tell you, I saw the Heart Eyes trailer again.
That looks rough.
It looks awful, man.
It looks real rough.
I really hate the trailer.
Oh yeah, me too.
What is it about that trailer that I hate? I think it's the music mixed with
The
the
music is
generic killer and we've seen this 1,000 times. And I also hate how it says from the producers of Scream, which means Scream 5 because they called that movie Scream, which I hate. And it's really the producers of Scream 5.
Mhm.
But they did it so that way from the producers of Scream. When everyone thinks Scream is the 1996 movie, that makes me angry.
I'll tell you what made me angry. I texted you about this over the weekend, and I'm sorry I'm making the show go long, but I have to get it.
And I'm angry too.
The Until Dawn trailer.
Oh, it's bad.
What a stinker!
I agree.
What an absolute just slop that is. Oh my gosh. Has nothing to do with the game. The cast just looks like generic, just teen slasher cast. And they also do the Suicide Squad thing in the trailer. I guess if we want to get out of here, we'll have to survive until dawn.
Dun dun dun.
What are we? Some sort of Suicide Squad?
I love it.
Awful.
I love your inflection on that too. It really does sound like Joel Kinnaman when you say that. Okay, that's going to do it. I promise. For the Meltdown here today, unless we go on some more angry rants. And we'll see you again very soon. We appreciate your subscription here. If you hit that thumbs up button for us, and we'll see you again tomorrow live, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern. And we'll see if EG drops her phone for a 40 day. It's all going to happen potentially right here on the Meltdown.